interest when we were talking on the phone, and I also testified now.
At the time of the call, Witness A was investigating Katiso KT Molefe for orchestrating the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swartz. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Former National Director of Public Prosecutions Vusi Pikoli says several ministers questioned the decision to pursue prosecutions in unresolved apartheid-era crimes. Pikoli has been testifying before the Commission, which is looking into delays in prosecuting cases referred to it by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. He says the prosecution linked to an attempted poisoning of Frank Chikane became a key test. He says a month after the matter went to court, he was suspended and an inquiry into his fitness to hold office was established. Dimakatsole Shoro has more.
On his second day of testimony, former NPA boss Vusi Pikoli says there seemed to be resistance from government to have TRC cases probed, as investigators were not made available to assist with the cases. He also linked his suspension to his decision to go ahead with the prosecution in the Frank Chikane case. Pikoli was suspended in September 2007 by then President Thabo Mbeki, triggering the establishment of the Genola Commission of Inquiry to determine his fitness to hold office. He was, however, cleared of any wrongdoing. He told the commission that in the lead-up to his suspension, there had been meetings with ministers where concerns were expressed about proceeding with the cases, particularly Advocate Anton Ackerman's involvement in the prosecution. He added that his decision to prosecute the Chikane matter was later included among the allegations against him at the Genola inquiry, but eventually withdrawn. Dimakatsole Shoro, Eyewitness News.
Golden Arrow Bus Services has condemned the torching of one of its buses in Mfuleni in Cape Town. The bus was allegedly set alight by community members during a protest in that area this morning. It's understood that a group of angry residents took to the streets protesting against the deployment of a private security company and the demolition of informal homes on city-owned land. Residents claim the private security officers have been using heavy-handed tactics while trying to maintain order. Golden Arrow Bus Services spokesperson Bronwyn Degaya says the bus driver was injured during the attack.
The seriousness of these types of brazen attacks should not be underplayed. Stoning buses and setting them alight is incredibly dangerous, and it's never justifiable.
The family of late COPE leader Musiwa Lekota is expected to hold a prayer service today as preparations continue to lay him to rest. A church ceremony will take place at the Rose of Lima Catholic Church, where his family will continue paying their respects. Lekota passed away at a hospital in Johannesburg last week after battling a long illness. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
The family of late struggle stalwart Musiwa Lekota says no amount of time could ever heal the pain caused by his passing. They say what hurts even more is that for many years, Lekota was not physically present as he was detained for a long period on Robben Island. As the family continues reflecting on his life and legacy, a church service will be held this afternoon as preparations continue for his final farewell. His remains will be collected from the Twilight Funeral Parlor and transported to the Rose of Lima Catholic Church for the family prayer service. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Bloemfontein.
And in China, a top economic official is expected to travel to France to hold talks with his U.S. counterpart. The meeting comes less than 3 weeks before U.S. President Donald Trump's summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The U.S. Treasury Department says the talks will be held on Sunday as well as Monday. The discussions between the world's top two economies come at a difficult time for the global economy. Energy markets have been struggling from the impact of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Gold is trading at $5,089.50 an ounce. The rand is at 16.83 to the dollar, 22.33 to the pound, 19.27 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $101.28 a barrel.
In Boksburg, heading towards Brakpan, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay. This is due to roadworks on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Heidelberg Road. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Springs area on Paul Kruger between Main Reef Road and 4th Avenue.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, suspended head of organised crime Richard Shibiri says he has no knowledge about the Big Five cartel.
EWN In Touch. in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Past 2 right here on 702 Afternoons. Welcome back. My name is Komoto Mudise. I'm in for Relebogile Mabotja this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we've been together since 1 o'clock. So if you just tuned in, where have you been? We've just had an awesome time with the talented Matthew Mole. We had him on the Unplugged feature, and I'm really just wishing him all of the very best. And he's just done such amazing work. We also had the guys from the Tava Indian restaurant, and they had amazing food with us here in studio. So if you can, please check them out. They are at Empress Palace, Monte Casino, as well as Norwood, that's in Johannesburg. They've got amazing food there. For those conversations, you can pop into the 702 YouTube page or go onto the Prime Media Plus app. And that's where you can find those conversations to listen back if you would like to, or share with your loved ones and all those around you. Coming up in the next hour, we are having our Upside of Failure feature. And my guest this afternoon, it is Siphesihle Ndaba. Siphesihle Ndaba is with me in the studio. She really is a dynamic young woman. And you might remember her as Mazette from Mzansi Magic's telenovela Gomorra. She's got a lot to share about her journey as an artist and a creative. If you want to get in touch with us, remember to dial us on 011-883-0702. Alternatively, send us a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. This is 702 Afternoons. I'm Komoto Modise. Good afternoon. Welcome.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
An exciting conversation that we're having this afternoon with a lovely young woman who's with us in studios. Siphesihle Ndaba is a dynamic, award-winning creative whose career reflects curiosity and momentum and social engagement. Her work moves fluidly across disciplines including acting, writing and producing. She's also done some directing, and she also has a love for fashion. And she's with us in studio this afternoon. Pesy, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
It's so lovely to have you here today.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading your title. I was just like, yo, there's a lot going on. Hey, yeah, what a talented individual. Hey, it's the acting, it is the producing, it's the directing, it's the fashion. And I mean, it's just amazing to hear all the wonderful things that you are doing as a creative. Just talk to me about your career. And I mean, for you, it started with acting, and currently you're also exploring so much. But where did it start for you?
Wow, thank you so much. It's always so surreal to just hear all your accolades regurgitated back to you. It's like, really? Oh, yes. Yeah, I did do that, actually,
yes.
But it didn't actually start with acting. I grew up in a very musical family. My uncle, my grandfather are all musicians. My grandfather composed the play Princess Makoko. So we were all forced to be musicians. I played for the church band. I played in a junior band. I played in a junior jazz band. I played in the Joburg Schools Orchestra for a while. I played for Wits Orchestra from scratch. And so that's actually where I thought everything was going to hit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to compose music for film and TV. That's my dream.
And then what happened?
And then I got to matric, right? So I applied to different universities for different things. So I applied to Stellenbosch to study music. I applied to Wits to study like a PPE and law. And then I applied to Rhodes because then I could do an amalgamation of things into one degree. And then they were like, okay, I got accepted to all of them, and then I had to make a decision. And they were like to me, well, at Stellenbosch, a lot of the classes are still in Afrikaans. So you'd have to attend lectures in Afrikaans. And if you needed a translator, you'd have to put an earpiece in. And I was like,
yeah, no, you
oh
were
my
not.
goodness, that sounds like more work that I have to do. So maybe not. Yeah, and then Rhodes allowed me to do everything all at once. And so I studied psychology, economics, and drama, triple majored into one degree, which was super convenient for me. And so that's how we got here.
Okay. And I mean, even when you did that, was the idea to be on screen, you know, small screen, big screen? Was that the idea? I'm now choosing to be an actress.
Yes, that definitely was the dream. And, you know, so I attended the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. And every year we have a musical that we use to fundraise, that we use to entertain for all sorts of reasons. And so I auditioned for that. And I think after the very first performance on stage, I was like, yeah, this is what I want. And so, yeah. And so that was the inception of Siphesihle Ndaba, the actor.
Yeah. But speak to me about Siphesihle Ndaba in Soweto. Take me back there, right? With your mother and your grandmother. Talk to me about that little girl.
Sure. I had such a good time as a child. My mom did such an amazing job of shielding me from the awareness of like our circumstance. Like I wasn't aware that anything is going on. I was just like, yeah, cool, we move in.
Yeah.
We lived here, now we live here with Coco. It's amazing. Like life goes on. It's only, I guess, until I'd say maybe up until I got like maybe just before high school, then I became aware of like maybe my classmates, and I was like, oh, okay, they go on trips to the Bahamas with their families. They go on, you know, they go on these vacations, and I'm home. And I didn't realize it. And the reason being is because I attended a Model C school. Just because I lived in Soweto, my mom made sure to make sure that we still had a quality of life that didn't depict our circumstance. And my mom is actually so resilient. People like, if I tell the story, like my mom used to go to the Department of Education every morning, and she was like, listen, I want my kids to go to this school because it's going to provide them with the education they need to be as successful as they can be. I can't afford it, but guess what? You are going to give me a subsidy that makes sure that they will attend the school. And they were like, we don't have money. She said, okay. She shows up the next morning. Hey, I'm back again. They're like, ma'am, we don't have money. She showed up the next day. She's like, I want a subsidy. They got so annoyed with her. They were just like, okay, fine, Sisi, here you go. Your children are going to go to school. Good luck.
And you say that you didn't know that anything was going on. What was going on?
I guess, no, just the difference between my peers in school, attending a Model C school with majority white children, privileged children, who are in a much higher tax bracket than we were. And I guess the awareness of that, I honestly didn't feel. I went to school, I wore clothes, I ate food, I lacked nothing. And that's what I mean when I say I wasn't aware. Yeah.
It's interesting that, you were encouraged to move into the arts, to pursue a career in the arts, even though, you were not rich, you were not wealthy. And, funny you say you're from Soweto. I'm also from Soweto, right?
Ooh, where you from?
Orlando.
Oh, next door.
You're from?
Mfulo.
Oh, no, yeah, but you guys are a little far.
But we're like next door.
Yeah, okay, I see. But what's always interesting for me is how, many parents were just so fearful for their children to pursue careers in the arts, because of what they had been seeing, artists, dying with not much, people that were living lavish lives, and then, all of a sudden, we need to contribute towards their funerals. Was that ever a fear in your home that, Siphesihle wants to pursue a career in the arts, and we're not wealthy here, or were you just encouraged to pursue your dreams?
Absolutely not. Like, I don't know what it is, but like my mom trusts my judgment. Like she's like, but also I think it's a level of confidence on her, because she's like, I know I raised you well enough to think So when I come to her with something, I think she's aware that like I've thought this through. I understand the consequences. I have a plan for it. But my mom trusted me from the get-go. When I was like, this is what I'm going to do, she was like, does it make you happy? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, sure, okay. Let me know how it goes. I'll be here. And that was that.
That's absolutely amazing. We're speaking to Siphesihle Ndaba. She is an award-winning creative. She's an actress, a producer. She is, in fashion. She is a director. She's an all-round powerhouse, and she's with us today in studio for the Upside of Failure. We're going to be having a more, talking to her more about her journey, and I'm really excited to hear about Gomora because that's when I first got to see her on our screens. And if you know anything about the character that she played there, I mean, she's nothing like Mazette, at least in person. She's going to tell us more about that after this.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Mzansi, get ready for millions pouring down this Friday. Powerball and Powerball Plus are bringing a massive 135 million Rand in total guaranteed jackpots. Make it rain lots of cash this March by playing Powerball for 93 million Rand and Powerball Plus for 42 million Rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, Play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Vodacom's Red Hot Deals presents ready-to-use home internet with 400 gigs of anytime data, plus a Vodacom 5G home router with up to 20 megabits per second download speed for just $399 per month over 36 months. Miss it, miss out. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Sim, you did at Standard Bank recently change the retirement policy. You moved it from 60 to 63.
You need to create space for younger people coming through, on the one hand, but you've also got to continue to have access to the knowledge, skill, talent, and wisdom of older people who are working for much longer. Most people can work right up to the mid to late 70s. They've got the energy, the brains, the know-how, and you ought to have access to it.
Sim Shabalala, the Group CEO at Standard Bank.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking. Trade powers Africa's growth, and businesses that succeed are those able to manage risk, optimize liquidity, and move confidently across markets. ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking helps enable your trade flows for growth. ABSA is a registered FSP. T's and C's apply.
702.
The Upside of Failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
Welcome back. This is 702 Afternoons with me, Modise. I'm in for Relebogile this afternoon. It's 20 minutes past 2, and we're having such an amazing conversation with a dynamic young woman. Her name is Pesy Ndaba. She's an actress, and she's an all-round creative. She's doing quite amazing things in the arts space, and she's with us in the studio today. So I want to speak to you about Gomora, Mazette, right? For those of you who might not necessarily know who Siphesihle is, I'm sure you've seen her on that show. And, I mean, that was your first major TV role.
True.
Speak to me about the journey towards bagging that role, because I'd imagine, you know, there were auditions, and I'm sure you've been auditioning for a lot of roles.
Yeah.
Talk to me about getting Mazette.
So at the time, this was 2019. So I had just finished a theatre production. I was stage managing a theatre production at the National Arts Festival, and I was in another one. And then I think the October of that year, I then completed my honors degree. So I was like, okay, cool. We're done with this second degree. We're going to go home. And oh my gosh, am I unemployed? Hectic. And then Kutlano had posted, he's one of the producers of the show. So he had posted, hey, we're having an open call for actors, actresses. Come on, we have the show. Come through if you think you got the chops. And I was like, I mean, I'm unemployed, so I might as well just show up. And I went to the audition and it went well. And then I got a call back, and then I got another call back, and then I got another call back. I think after the fourth call back, I was like, okay, guys, do you want me or not?
Yeah.
You know, because it's so nerve-wracking, like the whole audition process. But it was amazing because then we kept doing chemistry reads with different people. And I think at the time I didn't understand the idea of like chemistry reading with different people. So I was just like, you know, they've called me in like 4 times this week, but they still haven't decided whether or not they want me. So I don't really know, like, do you want me? And Bob's your uncle. There it was. We got the part. And that was the beginning of the infamous
Mazette. Were you auditioning for Mazette? Is that the role that you were auditioning for?
I auditioned for 2 roles. I auditioned, actually, when I'm tracking back, so I was on a travel bursary in London, and I had to send them a self-tape because I wasn't in the country. They wanted me to send a self-tape for both Buhle and Mazette, the 2 characters.
Okay.
And immediately when I did that tape, I was like, I definitely want Mazette. Like,
really?
Yeah. I was like, every time I take a role, I want to take a character that is so different from me that will allow me to step into somebody else, and I can completely, I guess, engulf myself in the research that it would take to be that person because it's so far away from me. And it also just allows me to separate myself from the craft and have like me, and that's the character. So I always look for very different characters.
And for our listeners who might have never seen Gomora and Madeline might have never watched, don't know Mazette, let's describe her. Because if I were to describe her, she's this really butch, very rough around the edges. I don't know if butch is the right term, but yeah, she's a tomboy also, it seems. She has a difficult past. She has a life in crime. She decides to be a criminal for some reason. She wants to be a Skebenga also because she's around all Ikebengas. But describe her according to you.
I mean, Mazette, I think the reason why she was so relatable is because she was the girl next door. Like, she wasn't this done-up, performative, I'm that girl. I think the reason why she resonated so much is because she doesn't care. Like, she's unapologetically who she is, unapologetically living her life. Yes, she does these things because, you know, she's got siblings to take care of, and she knows that she's got the skill, okay? She's got charm, she's smart, she's fast. She's agile. So all of these skills put together, she was like, I can pull off this thing of stealing cars, actually, you know. And it kind of reminded me of Angelina Jolie in Gone in 60 Seconds, but just the South African version of her. And that's who she is, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you speak about how different she is to you, but did you find yourself at some point seeing some similarities maybe as you were, you know, in character?
Interesting. I guess the idea of growing up ekasi, it was something that was easy for me to draw from. Even though I had to learn how to speak Tsotsitaal, because that's definitely not how I speak every day.
It's the Tsotsitaal element, but also it's the dialect that you would hear, and I'd imagine that's something that you would have to prepare and study a dialect, because as a Soweto person, I don't speak like a person from Alexandra.
True.
You know, even if I were to speak Soweto Tsotsi or try, it would never sound like the people in Alexandra. Is that something that you had to take to study?
Definitely. I did so much research. I spoke to my brothers, I spoke to my brother's friends, because now I'm sitting in on my brother's friends' conversations to try hear how they describe things. I'm like, okay, this is how they talk about a car. This is how they talk about. Oh, okay, got it. So yeah, it was a lot of research that went into creating and building her to be what she was.
Yeah, and just talk us through what goes into that, because you'll speak to a lot of creatives and actresses and actors, and they'll tell you, I had to I went so deep in my prep that I had to almost de-roll. I think that's what's termed. I spent so much time in a certain area. I spent so much time drinking certain things so that it became normal, and I knew how that feels. Is that something that you had to go through as well?
Yeah, definitely. And not just in the beginning of creating the character, but I think also as the character experienced arcs and character development. I mean, by the 3rd season, Mazette was a paraplegic and I'm an able-bodied person. So there's no way I could ever think that I know what a differently able-bodied person encounters day to day. So I had to go out and I had to interview people living with disabilities, and I have to gather this information. I'd be like, okay, cool. How do they interact with their day to day? How do they bath? How do they make food? I think the most interesting one was somebody who is paraplegic sits differently on a wheelchair than somebody who's able-bodied. And you wouldn't think that, because you're like, how you're sitting is sitting.
Yeah.
No, it's so different, because they also, there's a part of their core that's different to what our core is. And so, yeah, little nuances like that help make the character real are so important to me, because even after the show, differently able people came to me to say, oh my gosh, like, I genuinely, I know who she is. Like, I've seen somebody that is her around me. And I think that's so important for us as creatives, to be true to the story, to be true to the people that we're playing. And that's why research is imperative.
Lessons from Mazette?
Don't do crime.
Don't do crime. Hey, stay away from crime.
Stay away from crime. One thing I learned about Mazette, I was afraid of visibility for a very long time. I was very self-conscious, and I guess having to play somebody who's not self-conscious, somebody who is so unapologetic about who they are, what they stand for, who walks into a room and owns the room. The eyes are on her and she's comfortable with it. She's not fazed by it. It was kind of like fake it till you make it. So the more I faked it with her is the more I felt it within myself. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I've taken from her.
Yeah, well, listen, there's a lot we were learning from Mazette. I mean, one of those is don't do crime. You're right. Because I was like, this is not the life that I want to live. And I can't imagine why anyone would want to, unless they absolutely had to,
Yeah.
But yes, it's been lovely watching you on our screens. We're speaking to Siphesihle Ndaba on the upside of failure this afternoon. You might remember her or know her as Mazette from Gomorrah. That's the telenovela on Mzansi Magic. She's got so much to share with us about her journey and what's happened after Gomorrah. I'm really looking forward to that conversation. The number to dial if you want to weigh in is 011 883 0702. Send us a WhatsApp on 072 702 1702. It's 2:30 on the dot, and it's time for Eyewitness News headlines with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Khomoto. Good afternoon. Members of Parliament's Committee on Defence say they are disturbed by images of soldiers conducting house searches instead of preventing illegal mining in Gauteng. They've raised more questions about the deployment of the South African National Defence Force and its preparedness to help the police fight serious and violent crimes. The concerns come just days after soldiers and police raided homes in Eldorado Park, Riverlea, Sophia Town, as well as Westbury. Suspended head of organised crime Richard Shibiri says he has no knowledge about the Big Five cartel. The group is believed to be made up of crime bosses that run an underworld mafia network which stretches from taxis, mining, private security and extortion. Shibiri has been quizzed at the Madlanga Commission today about his knowledge of the group. And the family of late COPE leader Musiwa Lekota is expected to hold a prayer service today as preparations continue to lay him to rest. A church ceremony will be taking place at the Rose of Lima Catholic Church, where his family will continue to pay their respects. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Boksburg area heading towards Brakpan, we still have those roadworks causing about a 30-minute delay. This is on the N17 eastbound between Rondebold and Carnival City in Springs. Traffic remains heavily backed up on Paul Kruger between Main Reef Road and 4th Avenue. Look out for those faulty traffic lights, Rand Park Ridge, Bayers, Nodia and the N1, as well as in Ilovo at Melville and Chaplin. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Lekalakala, Station Pomola. I love 702 because 702 always keep us updated. Everything that happens around the world is the first one to let us know what is going on.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Coming up
On 702 Drive with John Perlman.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Get ready for millions pouring down this Friday. Powerball and Powerball Plus are bringing a massive 135 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots. Make it rain lots of cash this March by playing Powerball for 93 million rand and Powerball Plus for 42 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
In this week's thrilling and slightly bone-chilling episode of MasterChef South Africa, the contestants... We will be coming back with that MasterChef live read that is right there. But MasterChef has actually been doing really well this season, and I have been enjoying it. I mean, celebrate the power of African storytelling and join Freedom Park in collaboration with the South African State Theatre for the 13th Ungasali Storytelling Festival on the 14th of March 2026 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. Experience powerful performances through poetry, theatre, music, and traditional storytelling as we celebrate the voices and stories that shape our heritage. Tickets are available at Web Tickets for 150 Rand, the Ungasali Storytelling Festival, where African stories come alive, and don't miss it.
coming up
On 702 Drive with John Perlman.
It's 25 minutes before 3, and at 3 o'clock it is 702 Drive with Ndade John. John Perlman is in studio with us this afternoon. Ndade John, what can we expect on the show? Hi.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of our listeners. So, huge focus still on the fact that the conflict in and around Iran is preventing oil coming out of crucial oil-producing countries, including Saudi Arabia, which is where South Africa gets most of its oil. So we're going to have a two-part focus on that. Khumotso, we're going to talk to the Fuels Industry Association. We've had other people talking about whether there is a risk that we might start running short of fuel. I'm not entirely convinced by the answers I've been getting, so we're going to keep at it. And they'll be coming on, as I said, after 5 o'clock. But the one thing that has really fascinated me, these ships have to come out through a waterway called the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is about 100 and something kilometers long. I forget the exact number. At its narrowest point, it's 34 kilometers wide. But at that point, there's only room enough for 2 ships to go through, one going each way. So they literally have keep left, keep right, or whichever it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk to a sea captain who's actually sailed through the strait and get a really vivid picture. So much turns on whether this problem can be resolved. It affects inflation. It will affect food prices. It may start affecting food supply if we have fuel rationing. And who knows, we may be spending time in sleeping bags on the floor here if we can't get to work. I don't want to overstate it, but I'm not going to understate it either. So we'll talk to Sea Captain Nick Sloan. He'll join us at 20 minutes past 4. It's Friday, so we'll do some regulars. Randall Abrams with Randall's One Song. That's at 10 to 5. There's been a big breakthrough in the fight against rhino killing and rhino horn trafficking. More on that at 10 past 4. And in our weekly feature, Songbook and a Dish, we'll talk to a real radio legend. Stan Katz is our guest at 20 to 6.
That's amazing. That is 7:02 Afternoon Drive with Dr. John Perlman between 3 and 6 p.m.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
It's the upside of failure, and my guest this afternoon is Pesy Ndaba. She is an award-winning creative. She's an actress, a producer, and just a fantastic human being. She's been talking to us about her journey, and you may remember her from the show Gomorrah. Ha 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 ha. Did I do that right? Did I try? Yeah. Gomorrah.
No, you gotta have some bass. You gotta get some bass.
Gomorrah.
You know, it's me.
All right. I do hear that there are some WhatsApps that we're getting from our listeners. Let's take a listen.
Good afternoon, 702 and the listeners. Trust you guys are blessed this Friday morning. To our guest in the studio, thank you so much for making time to come and share your testimony and share your journey. Special request this afternoon, as you had to learn Tsotsi in order to play your role. Give us something that you would say to someone who's bullying you, but give us something in the Tsotsi as of 2026. Those guys that are bullying kids at school, those that are bullying people in the workplace, those that are bullying in communities. Give us some Tsotsi and set the bully up straight. Have a blessed one. Be blessed. Be blessed indeed. Bye-bye.
I love that one, hey? We want Tsotsi.
The pressure is getting
worse and worse.
Yes. I can't, guys.
Come on.
Stop bullying. No to bullying. It's wrong.
Which Tsotsi is this one? It's a sentence Tsotsi. Because there's no way. This is not.
No, I have to step into the character. That's the whole process.
You know, you must.
But I will say stop bullying on a serious note. Stop it.
Yeah. You see, I'm also, I can do it, right?
Clearly, you can step into Mazette if need be.
Let's take more voice notes.
Good afternoon, 702 afternoon Spay. Hey, what a touching interview. Very interesting. Just listening to Mazette, because that's what we relate with, or that's who we relate with, Mazette. I was just impressed by how Mazette grew in character. When I watched her the first time at Gomorrah, and just her entire progress in the series was very impressive. And sometimes, you need to take that path where you can grow and leave us with that taste that Mazette left us with. Wishing her the very best in the future, and she must keep it up.
Yeah, it's always amazing to hear when the audience can see the character development and the character grow.
Yeah.
I think it's a compliment to you as the artist, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so reassuring, because we put in so many hours behind the scenes, prepping scenes, prepping characters, developing these characters, thinking about ways to make these characters bigger and more real. So it's always so affirming for people to see the work that you don't necessarily see in front of the screen.
So the feature is called The Upside of Failure, so we need to get into your failures.
Oh my gosh.
I need you to talk to me about your first failure. The first one that you experienced that you remember.
The first failure I experienced. I don't think I remember the first failure I experienced, but I think I remember the first one that had an impact on me, or that continues to have an impact on me. I think as actors, as performers, as creatives, a big part of doing what we do is rejection. Every day you get rejected in some way, shape, or form every day, whether it's an audition, whether it's a project you're pitching and you don't get the pitch. And I think in the beginning, I used to be so distraught. The minute I auditioned for a character and I didn't get it, it would bother me, and I'd probably sit with it for more than a week. I would sit with this and be like, but why not me? I did all of these things. I prepped like this. I did all of these things. How are they not seeing me? And it's only the older you get, the more you realize that, one, there's no such thing as failure. It doesn't exist, because even when things don't go your way, or failure per se, if we're going to use the word, failure is more redirection more than anything. Every time you experience something that doesn't go your way, that's an opportunity for you to then read it for what it is, introspect, take what you meant to learn from the experience, and be better next time. But also understanding that sometimes you just weren't right for the role. Sometimes this wasn't your pitch. Maybe this wasn't for you. There's something else that is for you, because what is for you will never miss you. And if you operate with that understanding, then you don't feel so, upset and brought down when you don't get the thing.
And has that always been your attitude towards failure, or has that come with growth?
Definitely come with growth, without a doubt. That's what I'm saying, probably 2020 or pre-2020 up until maybe 2022. Sihle would have thought it's the end of the world. Oh my gosh, am I ever going to make it? But one of my acting coaches was like, whenever you walk into an audition room, don't think that, okay, I'm doing this so that I can get the role. You walk into the room and you say to yourself, this is the one time that I'm sure that I'm able to play this character, because at this point, they have to watch me and see me as this character. So because it's the one time you are the character, you give it your all. Whether or not you get it and you come back again, it doesn't matter. But in this moment, you are the character, so be the character. And leave everything on the floor, and what will happen will happen.
Yeah. Hey, it sounds hectic. It needs resilience, I suppose.
It does.
Levels of resilience. When I'm in your arms, Cleo Soul. Talk to me about that song. Where does it take you?
I just love Cleo Soul. She's such a romantic. Her voice is just, absolutely beautiful. And I'm a romantic at heart. I love love. And she's just describing what love feels like when she's in the arms of the one that she loves.
All right, let's take a listen to When I'm in Your Arms by Cleo Soul. Sure, it's When I'm in Your Arms by Clear Soul. I didn't know that song, but now I'm adding it to my playlist.
You're adding it to your playlist?
Yes.
Yep.
You're a plug.
Yep.
I can hear it.
My brother's a DJ, so I have that advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, super fly.
Yeah, listen, I need to keep you close by. Okay. We are in studio today with Siphesihle Ndaba. She's an award-winning creative and she's an actress. I do see your voice notes coming in. Let's take some of them.
So Mazette, hey, you know what? You really killed the role that you played in Gomorrah. Congratulations. In fact, I was surprised to hear that this was your first real acting gig. Just on the issue of Umam Sonto and the fact that she's passed on, she was your mentor in crime, and also as a first gig, I think she must have been your mentor. How did you feel when she passed away?
Hi, Siphesihle Ndaba. Ooh, I'm happy for you, girl. We thank God. This beautiful and humble character. Sihle. Ububonakala sithando sami ukuthi hayi awuyona ilife kaMazette wena. But it was just a role play. I wish you all the best. It's Molly Mahlangu from Boxback. Thank you.
How does that make you feel?
That's so cute.
Ubonakala ukuthi you not Mazette.
All the time. I tell the story all the time, and I'm walking in, I think it was a Willie's, and Ugogo walks up to me and she goes, Mntanam, ngale ndlela umuhle ngayo ayikufaneli lempilo oyiphilayo. Ngicela nje uyeke nje lezi zinto ozenzayo. Azikufaneli. I was like, yo, yebo ma, ngiphinde.
Yes.
Ngikwenze lokho. And I just walked. I said, I don't have time to explain to this lady
That's
that's
a
TV.
character and it's not who I am.
Because this Gogo believes, okay? So, yeah.
And I mean, the question around, your mentor, also just Mesonto in Gomorrah. Of course, her passing, hit many of those in your space quite deeply. How's that been for you?
Sure. I can't even describe like how much her passing, it was so, I don't even have the words for it. And the voice note was sent by that guy was so true. She was a mentor, but she was more than that. You know, anybody that's experienced Umamkoni and experienced Joanna set, like she's so motherly. She would come to set on a Monday and she'd be like, yeah, guys, ngipekile. Now I'm leftover, nginphakele nina ukuthi nizodla namhlanje ngelunch, and like she'd bake or she'd go buy a cake and she'd be like, ngithengele ibhakede, and just open the bucket on set and just be like, everybody must come have some. Like she was such a warm and loving human being. Always willing to share information. I don't know how much on the industry she taught me behind the scenes, how to maneuver, how not to maneuver. She was amazing.
Yeah, Mekonichi Ume, what a woman, really. Hey, okay, so I want us to speak about your latest project.
Yes!
That's earned you the title of direct producer.
Yeah.
Right? Currently at the Johannesburg Film Festival. I do know that we have the trailer, so let's take a listen to that before we speak about the work. Yes, we do.
You know, it's not nice to take without giving a little something.
This is definitely on purpose. Guys love that dirty back alley shit.
Yeah, they'll pay for it.
Oh, that's true. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Why did you want to meet me?
There's a lot of girls like you online.
What do you mean, girls like me? Black girls.
She's missing for like 2 weeks now. Bitch be MIA. Something about a guy online she went on a date with.
Can I ask you a question?
Depends.
On what?
The question.
Have you ever been in love?
I just hit the lotto. Break up, break up, break up.
Break up, break up, break up. When you're young, eh? You're told that you're loved. Granny loves you. Uncle loves you. Jesus loves you. You know.
Yeah, that really has me wanting to see that just from the audio. I mean, your face lit up when I spoke about it. It's called Lilith, right?
Yeah.
That's the project. Talk to me about it.
Lilith is, oh man, what a amazing story. And even everything that surrounds the film, like working with the director, Robin, working with the team. It's been honestly such an amazing journey. Very fulfilling, very heartwarming, very inspiring, working with such amazing creatives. I've had such a good time. I've learned so much being part of this project. So it excites me.
That's amazing. And it is currently, it was last week.
Last week. It was
at the Johannesburg Film Festival. Hope to see it around as well. I mean, now that you are reflecting, and this is post Gomorrah, your biggest role, what has your most recent failure look like, particularly as you reflect now on failure in the way that you do? Because it's clear that you've grown also there on how you perceive failure, what you perceive it to be. But post Gomorrah, of course, as actors do, you've had a dry season, in terms of roles as well. Talk to me about how you are feeling about that in terms of failure. Do you perceive it to be failure?
No. Never. I think that when things also don't happen, they also open space for other things to happen. So when I'm not on screen, I'm not sitting at home thinking, oh my gosh, can somebody please see me? Can somebody please give me a job? No. I have agency. I have willpower. I'm an adult. I get up and I say, okay, cool. What are my other skills? Okay, I've got a degree in 3 other things. Maybe I can utilize those skills. And I think unfortunately, it's the sad truth of us as creatives, and where the industry is right now. If you look at like so many things that are happening, the DTI rebate not being there. The sad thing is that as creatives, we are not in a space right now where we can solely depend on being creatives to anchor us and to sustain us. And none of us want that to happen, because we all did this because it's our passion, it's something we were called to, it's something that's spiritual for us. But the reality is what it is, and you can't just sit and wait for what's coming next. And so we have to then now diversify our portfolios and say, what other skills can I do and what other skills can I commodify in this moment in order to sustain me? And that's the kind of mindset that we have to have, know.
And your philosophy, in life, let me tell you, I like to ask that because I think people that have philosophies are very organized people in life. They seem to have things put together. And you seem like a person who's got things put together. As a result of that, I've also tried to come up with a philosophy for myself. Yeah. So what is the philosophy that you live by?
What is your philosophy?
Oh, it's my school motto. Nothing is too difficult for the brave, right? It was actually, it's called Fortini Hill Difficilius, right? That was the actual motto, but it means nothing is too difficult for the brave. And I carry that with me so much, right? I was thinking, what? I just need to tap into brave Komoto, because nothing then will be too difficult for me. So what's yours?
I have a couple. I could go the whole day.
Yeah.
But I guess the burnt toast theory. Have you heard of the burnt toast theory?
No.
Which is it's the idea that everything you do is happening for your highest good. So if you're driving somewhere and you're late, and your car gets stuck and your tire's flat and now you're stuck on the side of the road, now you can't make it to the meeting, and then your day, and this ripple effect on your day, you weren't meant to make it to that meeting. It's not because the world is against you, someone is plotting against you, someone has your voodoo doll. It's because you weren't meant to be at that place. You are being protected from something, from wherever it is that you couldn't make it to. So nothing is ever happening to harm you. Every single thing is happening for your highest good, no matter how bad.
All things are working for your good. I absolutely love that. Siphesihle, what's next for you? I mean, people that are following you, you've heard many people, they just love what you've done with Mazette, but I'm sure there's a lot more. Currently, you've got Lilith, of course. What more is on your plate and on your schedule for now?
Do you have 500,000 for the NDAs I signed? I'm joking. What can I say?
Yeah.
I think definitely more producing. We've got a cool rom-com in the works that I was a part of that project. We've got a couple of other projects, a series. But I'm not abandoning in front of the screen. I will never abandon the front of the screen.
Good, we enjoy you there.
That's like one of my first loves. So I definitely will be back. I will be back.
I'll be back.
I guess, yeah. Just more creative energy. No matter what I do in different spheres, I'll always be a creative at heart. So you could definitely expect that from me.
Where can people find you?
You can find me at Cee Cee Ndaba, CEE_Ndaba on every single platform. And if you want to pop me an email, info@pesysendaba.com. Yeah, but make them work-related. My team has seen interesting things.
Siphesihle Ndaba, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I had such a good time.
All right.
I heard she's got a recruiter team working 24/7.
That one, she has a secret supply of talent.
I knew it. She's definitely keeping a secret from us.
Nothing mysterious, guys. It's SA Youth, South Africa's largest youth online recruitment platform. Fast to post, effortless to use, and effective every time.
Recruit on the portal to potential, sayouth.co.za, powering South Africa's youth workforce. Celebrate the power of African storytelling. Join Freedom Park in collaboration with the South African State Theatre for the 13th Ungasali Storytelling Festival on the 14th of March 2026 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. Experience powerful performances through poetry, theatre, music and traditional storytelling as we celebrate the voices and stories that shape our heritage. Tickets are available at Web Tickets for 150 Rand. The Ungasali Storytelling Festival, where African stories come alive. Don't miss it.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
All right, it's 3:00. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Modise and I've been in for Relebogile Mabotja over the last few days. Thank you so much for your contributions onto the show. Dada John Pullman is next with Afternoon Drive. He's on the radio between 3 and 6 p.m. For now, though, it's goodbye.
This is EWN.
MPs not too happy with the conduct of soldiers on the ground, and Shibiri says he knows nothing about the Big Five cartel. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Members of Parliament's Committee on Defence say they're disturbed by images of soldiers conducting house searches instead of preventing illegal mining in Gauteng. They've raised more questions about the deployment of the South African National Defence Force and its preparedness to help the